18 months ago, it was just dirt floors. So we quickly turned this into a school, realizing we can't do it all ourselves.
We took out a loan for about $150. We had one battery between all our tools. So I'd say about 3 months to get it fully renovated and painted. They try to grow more because they know we're going to sell it for them.
Pine Breeze does the best raw milk. We've already put, I think, 100,000 or so into inventory
alone. Wow.
It's only been 2 months, but like, when are you tearing down this wall? Now we're supporting about 75 farms and small businesses.
What's up, guys? You know what time it is. It's time for another field trip. And in case you're not aware, this is actually a part 2 from a first video that we did showing the Piney Mountain Homestead and kind of the whole story behind the owners, Matt and Rachel. Now we're going into part 2, where we're going to talk all about starting a farm store. It's really pretty inside. It's very aesthetic, and we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of what it took to get this thing started, how much stuff costs, what it's like trying to run inventory. There's going to be some surprising things coming up, so definitely stay tuned. And don't forget, if you like this content, give me a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the things we put out going forward. Yeah, let's just get right into it. Let's go in and take a peek. Matt, good to see you again, brother.
Hey, Riley.
Thank you for doing part 2, Rachel.
Hey, good to see you.
Heck yeah. All right, let's get into this market. So when we were going around doing the tour of the homestead, you know, you talked about the market. I'm sure the people watching it was really intriguing. And this is the, to me, like, obviously the aesthetic part of the whole thing. It's just really cool looking. I know, this is Rachel's forte right here. So I'm excited to dig in and kind of see what in the world were y'all thinking starting this kind of crazy big market, and then what that's been like, you know. And you know, feel free to get into as much detail as possible. I'm sure people watching would love to hear, so that if they want to start like a little farm stand, or if they want to go big as well in their home state, that they kind of have a little bit of an idea. So the floor is yours, man. So what in the world?
What in the world? So my background in the corporate side is distribution. So I'm working with distributors either as the manufacturer, or I'm working as the distributor myself. So I'm learning the ins and outs of inventory, supply, you know, turns on that inventory, which products are turning, which products have sat on the shelf for 120 days and need to go. Just all on the corporate side with technology. Nothing that I really got excited about, but I kind of knew there was a reason of why I was interested in this, or why I like just supply chain and operations in general. I think I have 12, 13 years or so of experience with that. I know the distribution world like the back of my hand, but it didn't excite me at all. And so, you know, you got the farm tour, you got that background. So bringing those two together, we started doing cows on a larger scale. We started doing, you know, chickens on a larger scale. The meat chickens became more of a community thing. We do 200, 250 chickens at a time with 4 to 6 families type of thing. Getting to see how we all came together as one like big family, you know, a couple times per year was really neat. But also getting to see, like we talked about, we can't do it all ourselves. I mean, just to provide chicken for ourselves all year and some beef, that took a lot of work. It took a lot of time away from my desk, away from the kids, away from, you know, just family. And so the more I saw farmers markets taking off during COVID and seeing the need for it and seeing the reason why, people were looking at what was in their food. People were looking at how can they support local, because all these bigger companies were buying. I mean, I've seen so many acquisitions in the last 5 years than I have in my lifetime. And so just seeing what the world was turning into, and seeing how, you can take shortcuts with beef. You can grain feed and save months or years off of the timeline of when to process a cow. But why? What's the benefit?
Sure.
Is it profit, if that's what's driving you, or is it the quality? And so, so with both of those, the farm, realizing we can't do it all ourselves, but going to these farmers markets and seeing, like, if 90% of this stuff is from a 10-mile radius, like, it's incredible what people can create, and how can we showcase that? I'm not the manufacturer here, I'm just the distributor.
Besides the farmer's market, there really wasn't anything in Travelers Rest like that. Once the farmer's market closed, we were driving about 25 minutes to Swamp Rabbit or local places, and me and my neighbor would be like, hey, we're headed out to pick up some raw milk. Do you need anything? And it just got me thinking, like, what if we did something like that here? Super small. Like, how can we serve the community that way when the farmers market isn't happening, like during the winter months. How can we still support these farmers? How can they try to grow more because they know we're going to sell it for them? And providing like clarity on labeling and just information, access to tutorials and teachers. We have a lot of lessons and workshops here. I'm always putting like recipes around the store. So it was like, how can we bring that here all year? And TR was kind of a dry zone for that.
That makes sense, because we have that, like you said, the farmer's market in the summer here in Travelers Rest, but then after that, you got to drive 20, 30, 40 minutes or more just to try to find, like a place to get raw milk or a place to get grass-fed beef and that kind of thing. Yeah, so show us a little bit around, like, what do you have going on in the store? And then we can kind of get into some of the logistics behind it.
Yeah, so we can start with our gluten-free breads. We've got carrot cake and banana nut from Balance Bakery. And so they're only 10 minutes away, making the best muffins, cookies, banana bread, all gluten-free. They do a lot of other things that are that have gluten in them as well. But I mean, just the sauerkraut, the kimchi, the pickles, the cheeses, all, from Greer, Pickens, Pelzer, Common Ground does so much produce with the carrots. You've interviewed Wet Knot. We have their carrots.
Yeah. Oh, this is Wet Knot carrots. Oh, that's super cool, guys. Go check out that video. I'll put the link somewhere in here. That's really neat.
Yeah. And then, everyone in South Carolina has heard of Happy Cow. And so Happy Cow makes has the best milk, cheese, butter. So we've got their butter in their backyard as Pine Breeze.
Okay.
So Pine Breeze does the best raw milk that kids and adults love. So
now, guys, that's one thing. I'm sure you probably have some stuff to say about that. That's one thing that's nice about South Carolina that some people watching may not have access to, or not as easy access to, is raw milk. We luckily can have it and buy it legally, but I know a lot of people, it has to be marketed as like not for human consumption and things like that. But it's really cool.
Big one. Some more of the cool stuff. We have a Traveler's Rest tea,
nice.
Which is one of my favorites, from Table Rock Tea Company.
Table Rock Tea, I've never heard of them. That's cool.
So they're out in Pickens. They have a beautiful view of Table Rock State Park. One of the bigger sellers is Nelly Teas.
So funny story, I actually produce our elderberry right next to them.
Oh, wow.
Speaking of elderberry, we're going to do a little ad read here. So if you don't want to listen to it, you can skip. But you should listen. But you should listen.
It is good stuff.
Today's sponsor is my family's company, Allgood Elderberry Co. We make our elderberry syrup unlike most of the competitors. We use only fresh, cold-pressed North American elderberries grown on a family farm in central Indiana by farmers that we actually know by name. Now, there's not a lot of elderberry syrup producers out there who can say that. We take that cold-pressed juice and we blend it with things like organic mullein herb, and we make a tea that we put into our syrup. We put Ceylon cinnamon, Ceylon cloves, lemon juice, agave syrup, and it's very lightly sweetened. It's not super rich and sweet like most of the other syrups. So you're not actually getting a sugar bomb, but you're getting the elderberry anthocyanins that are actually good for you. And if you want to know a little trick about how to tell good elderberry, fresh elderberry syrup from ones that are made with dried European elderberries, look at the top of the bottle, give it a little shake, and if it looks a deep reddish purple, that's how you know you got the good stuff. It's small batch, intentional, and made the way you'd hope a family would make it, with care and without shortcuts. If you'd like to support our family and our small business and stock your home with something good, please visit us at www.allgoodelderberry.com to get you a bottle today. And if you go to the link in the description below, you'll actually get 15% off your first bottle.
But yeah, we've really enjoyed having the farm store. It's just been 2 months. This is just the start of our third month.
Wow. So in 2 months, how has that been? Like, I'm sure with something like this, there's a ton of logistics going into it. Some things that are just running through my mind out of pure curiosity is like, what did it cost to start this thing? Like, how many SKUs did you have to buy and manage? What does that cost? Like, what, for people watching who are just, because it's not a big space, right? Yeah. It's a fairly small space. They may have a certain concept in their mind what they think that might be, and I'm curious what the reality of it is.
Yeah, and just to give more context, so this is a 20-year-old barn. 18 months ago, it was just dirt floors, big 12 by 12 foot roll-up barn doors that you would see in a pole barn. The whole job ended up taking probably about 8 months. And so, we first installed the concrete floors, had a couple other local businesses interested in renting the building from us. We weren't sure, we talked about just taking steps slowly. So during the renovation process, we said, all we're going to do is concrete the floors. There's CrossFit gyms interested or your other type of ideas. And so we kept it pretty simple. And so that was like the first phase of the renovation. And then we'd been homeschooling our children for, I think, 2 or 3 years at that point. And so we had them on a great Montessori school down the road. And our next question was, what do we do for their education? We want them to be homeschooled, but we want them to socialize. We want them to have a good education. They're also pushing back on, when we educate them. In one of our local Facebook groups, someone reached out and said, I have a co-op program in different locations around South Carolina, North Carolina. Is anyone willing to house a building for us to start that co-op? Okay. So that was last year. So we quickly turned this into a school. So it was a one-room school barn. We can kind of walk into it here.
Yeah.
If you'd like. We just had a Halloween party. So this... don't mind the decorations and everything else. But so this was a one-room school. We didn't have, 3-4 months ago, we didn't have this wall in between.
Let me paint a picture for you, Riley. Okay. This was dirt, sand floors. Did you already go over this? Oh, okay.
No, so this concrete was not here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you already explain all of it?
No.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, it was dirt floors. It was garage doors right here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No windows at all.
Oh,
completely
really?
Dark. Just the metal siding, right? Yeah, there was, and we put insulation in, and then this wall we built just by ourselves, and put the beadboard up and everything. So
wow,
we learned a lot doing that. We'd never framed out a wall and corners. And
okay, I was just about to ask, y'all have any experience in construction, or did you just kind of YouTube University?
Yes, YouTube University, exactly. We had done a few things before, but minor with projects at home. Yeah, with renovation, but we'd never actually framed a wall that we wanted to stand up.
Man, you guys did a killer job. This thing looks sturdy.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. We were on some ladders, and we had one battery between all our tools, so I don't know how why we didn't just buy a new one. Yeah. We made it through, we just charged it, but it was cool. It was fun. We learned a lot.
So do you help run the farm school, or how does that work?
Yeah, it took us a month to kind of figure out what we were best at, what we like to do. I was working the desk in the barn for a while, and I just realized I'm more passionate about being with the kids at the school.
Okay.
So I'm back here a lot greeting and getting all the kids where they need to go and talking to the teachers and planning out how the day's going to go. So, but then I'll jump in here and help sometimes, but I'm primarily doing marketing. So all of our Instagram and ads and posting about new products as they come in, and then keeping the store kind of moving products around, decorating for Christmas or seasonal, and then trying to get interesting shots, not just in the store, but out in the pasture too.
Sure. So, yeah, you do it. I've seen you guys' social media. You do a killer job at keeping all the social media up to date and just all that good stuff.
It's definitely a creative process.
Sure.
It's nice when it's something that just kind of flows. So I have a Substack where I talk a lot about what I do on the farm. So Matt's really passionate about the animals and being out in the pasture, but I often take what he's working on, whether it's the meat or the garden, and bring that in and what I do with it at home. And then I like to sew a lot of our clothes and do a lot of projects around the house, whether we're rendering tallow or fermenting things, canning. I love to can once we've harvested everything. So I share a lot of that on Substack and then Instagram as well.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
So with the farm store itself, if whatever you're comfortable sharing, how much does it cost to, I know the building was here, but even just to renovate it, what ballpark figure are we looking at here?
Yeah, we took out a loan for about $150 and used every ounce of it to renovate. Okay. And then, like Matt said earlier in the other video, these were 2 bathrooms. And then they came back and were okay, you've got to literally add a foot to one. So the budget just kept having to stretch. And we were getting doors off Facebook Marketplace and just trying to make it really stretch. But we hired a lot of really great people, and I think it took us a full summer, so I'd say about 3 months to get it fully renovated and painted.
Okay. We did a big tour of other markets similar to this size. I think they gave me estimates $200,000-300,000 of renovating big buildings and things like that. This on the low end was $100,000 to renovate. Inventory, just being a couple months in, we've already put, I think, 100,000 or so into inventory.
Inventory alone. Wow. How many SKUs would you say you have roughly? Just like
300 to 400.
300 to 400. Okay.
Yeah.
And guys, if you're watching, you see this is like not a huge store, and it is already 300 to 400 SKUs. So like,
yeah, this barn itself is probably less than 1,500 square feet. So the market is 700 square feet.
Wow.
Not counting my office or the teacher closet or the bathroom. So we pack it in. We have inventory up there. We have an inventory closet. Inventory is moving into my office, and so we are expanding quickly. A lot of customers ask, like, well, it's only been 2 months, but like, when are you tearing down this wall and getting bigger? And right now we're supporting about 75 farms and small businesses.
Wow.
So I think, just moving slowly, learning from others' mistakes and their successes of, do we want to bring in, 150 pumpkins because, that's what people are interested in. It's Halloween, it's fall. Oh, but they're from 200 miles away,
Oh, wow, yeah.
So making decisions like that, I think, has helped us. Like, we've gotten calls, hey, do you sell pumpkins? Do you sell, this or that? And it's like, no, we don't, because it's not seasonal or it's not local here. But I think very quickly, just being 2 months in, we've seen so much growth, so much interest, so many customers saying, oh, we need this. Like, I'm going to be here every week. Customers coming in, multiple times per week and just getting excited of what we've created. I think one thing that's cool is just the employees that we have all come to us and said, this is my dream to work in a place like this. Are you guys hiring, type of thing? And
That's
so
neat.
We haven't had to put anything out there like, hey, we're hiring, come interview, or resumes, that type of thing.
Have y'all grown mostly through word of mouth? Are y'all doing any marketing?
So right now, we've put, besides what Rachel has done, which is a lot, on social media. I have a monthly newsletter that is now turning into a every other month type of newsletter.
Gotcha.
But I think we might do some more like paid marketing. There's a couple good resources, but I think just us with our mentality of growing slow and just taking the first 90 days and saying, what did we learn from this? It was successful, but do we want to grow more? Do we want to keep it smaller? I think learning from others too, of saying, just realize that we just want to keep this. We don't want Piney Mountain Market, Tigerville location.
Got it, okay.
Or, Marietta location. Even though this is successful, we want to serve the people in TR, Taylor's, the surrounding area of Greenville. And that's our mission, that the community aspect, which we hit on, as well as just serving people around us. So
I love that. I think that's important, going into it, knowing what do you want out of the thing before you even get started, or else it can kind of start ruling you, right?
Yeah.
People will start suggesting things, and we're like, oh, we want to do all the things. And like, I love doing all the things. And we're a great team because he's always like, let's stay small. Let's focus on doing this really well and slowly add stuff in.
I love that.
So it's been cool seeing both our strengths come out in that. And then we've had some awesome just word of mouth and organic sharing from like other Greenville influencers who are coming in, and I feel like people stumble upon it. They're like, wow, this is kind of a hidden gem right now, and they're excited to share about it because it feels really like special.
It's definitely the best looking market in the entire upstate. I've been to most of the farm markets around, and some of them, they look more like an old Ingles. Which is fine, they sell good stuff and that kind of thing. But this one, you walk in and it smells amazing. I know y'all can't tell in the video. It smells so good in here. Lots of great products. It looks like a place that I could just like read a book, just sit down and just read.
A lot of people are like, can I pull up a chair and just sit here for a while? And I really wanted it to feel like that old-time general store. Like, we weigh your produce on an old scale.
Oh, that's so
We've
cool.
just got a lot of wood, and I try to source like really cool. Like, all these shelves were from an old bookstore in, where'd we go? Up to Highlands. So we, like, took the trailer up the mountain and got all these old shelves. Who knows how long they've been there, but they were just holding books, and it's just cool to give stuff new life. And I also collect antiques, so you'll see a lot of, the old tables and baskets and cool things to hold stuff.
That's so cool. Well, I'm curious to kind of wrap up the farm store thing for people watching. What would you say are like the biggest aha, like, oh, this is way better or easier or, more rewarding than I thought? And then what's one of the things that you would say are like, goodness, I did not expect this when I started this farm store?
Yeah. I think for me, there were moments when we'd be like, it was like 10 p.m. and we're on a ladder at the time. And I'm like, is this worth it? Like, are people going to show up? And then just see people actually not just show up, but love it and tell their friends and post about it and just be like, this is the coolest spot ever. It's like our dreams unfolded and now people also like have caught the dream, and it's just been really cool. And seeing certain products sell really fast, you're just like, wow, we're meeting a need here.
Sure.
And people wanting to come be part of it. So the reception has been amazing.
Yeah, I think it is the people that come in and say, hey, my kid can't have peanut butter because it has corn syrup XYZ in it, but they can have your peanut butter. So that was, what we heard earlier on. So I should mention too, for probably 8 months or so, we did a pickup spot. And so before we started the market in store, we wanted to get a feel for what everything was like. What the interest was like. And so we quickly created an in-store option from there. But yeah, last November, we started a pickup option. A lot of it was your nude clean, your milk, your eggs, that type of thing. And the more, first we had similar like-minded homesteaders come in, or parents of the co-op who are also like-minded, want things local, want things just to slow down and keep it simple. And so we moved towards that, just adding more and more products. I'll show you kind of our bigger sellers over here. So the peanut butter, this 5 pounds of peanut butter is selling better than, the typical, 12 ounce jar that you would get. We've got customers walking in that want a gallon of maple syrup instead of, the pint or the quart type of sizing. And so, yeah, the bulk buys, I think, is what customers are interested in. I mean, we're, I think, the only market store that has cooking tallow and just unique products that you wouldn't find in other spots. So I think that's the fulfillment I get out of it is we're able to source like unique products. We're able to fill a need. I think the hard part is you're dealing with such small farms. So you're constantly letting customers down and saying the cows aren't milking, the chickens aren't laying. So there's no eggs for 4 or 5 days, or there's just such a high demand for those staple products. So just keeping up with everything and keeping the shelf stocked. Like earlier this morning, we had, 40, 50 loaves on this shelf. And I'm thinking to myself, what did I do? I way overdid it. I got way too much. And then within a couple hours, like this, we've sold through everything but 7 loaves. And so, yeah, just really rewarding, but also at the same time, just taxing on like, shoot, I haven't had this brand of products. I've run out, and I just, with everything going on, just not enough time to restock and bring it back in. So yeah, I think that's the disadvantage is like, you're not going to get that quick turnaround as if you were doing conventional, as you would at a conventional store. So the nude clean, he just came in today, but it took him 2 weeks to get the order over here. Because he's trying to expand in a slow pace.
Sure.
And so everyone is like-minded. We try to be very choosy on what produce we bring in. And even though this sweet potato or, this apple's not going to last as long, we go back to our roots, which is our slogan was we want it to be natural. We want it to be local and sustainable. Even though that apple's not going to last 5 months in the fridge, we want to offer it to our customers. And, at the end of the day, if we have to eat the cost of that, we have Ophelia, the cow, that'll eat the apples, or chickens that'll take care of it. And so, no, I mean, it's only been a short time, but we're here for it and excited.
That's awesome, man. For the people watching who, want to maybe try to do a little farm stand or something at wherever they're at in the country, or maybe they even have a grand vision like this, what kind of pointers would you give to someone watching, just kind of like that hasn't really broke ground on anything yet? What would you say to them?
I mean, start small, depending on where you're at. I mean, our investment, we had to get help from. So if you don't have that opportunity of getting a loan or getting, friends, family to help out, I would advise just to start small and set up a roadside stand. If you have your own eggs and you're wondering, does anyone want my eggs? They do. And they're willing to pay a lot for it. Yeah, just put what you have out there, maybe do an honor system type of thing. But then if you want to at least from where we're at in Travelers Rest, if you want to continue to support local, you have to support them just like we're supporting those markets that aren't in season right now. Helping them in the off season, I think will continue these businesses when, November, December, January, February, their revenue was zero. Now it's way more than they could ever imagine. And they don't have to think about getting a second job or, quitting the farm. And now they have, multiple markets. So we want this to grow. We want
there to be like as many of these teeny little stops as there are like Dollar Generals, Like
I love that.
People can just go down the road and be like, oh shoot, I need a couple things. Like to have a spot near them that offers that, and get your little stand on like Google Maps so that people can find it, and just being really clear and thorough about what you're selling, who you are. People want what you have.
I love that. That is really cool. I like that slogan. It's like try to make as many of these as there are Dollar Generals. That's a cool mission.
Well, now they're adding their little leaf in their logo, trying to look really natural. And I'm like, come on, we've got real people doing the work,
That's a great idea for another episode. An episode about greenwashing. Yes.
I could go into labels all day.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. We'll have to collab and kind of figure out some ideas. Guys, is there anything else that you want to share before we wrap this one up?
I think that's it. Let's go catch a sunset.
All right, let's do it, man. Thank you so much again. And real quick, for the people watching this one who didn't watch the one before, where can they find you? How can they know about what you guys are doing here?
Our website's best, so pineymountainfarm.com. That'll give more information about the farm stand, the farm store, and the school as well. And then you can sign up for our newsletter. I think that'll be the first thing to pop up. And so we'll send a monthly newsletter sharing about the farm, more of the market stuff Rachel does on Instagram and Facebook. So
okay, great. Well, thanks so much again, guys. I appreciate your time.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Riley.
Thank you.